And I'm terribly neglectful. I just realized I did not stream any of that to YouTube. Sorry, guys, but welcome into YouTube. Now you're here. Maybe a guest will show up too. Hell yeah. All of Bat's songs have been really amazing lately. Lately. I don't know what I mean about that. They've all been amazing. Michael V's as well. We can't forget. Can't forget we've also had some really good contributions from Jimmy B and I don't know if all of them want it named. And I'm waiting for two other members of our community. One I have heard a piece of, and the other I'm just told there is a song. Of course, if you want to share them, share your songs that are inspired by the space, you can do that in the Discord. The link tree is in my bio or in the Batcolyte's bio. Either one will take you there. And when you get there, you just gotta make sure you read the rules. And if you can't agree to them, then you should find you're not alone. And you'll find in the Curiosities channel, we've been sharing a lot of these, but there are other places, of course, you can share your work. I think it might be time for me to make a channel just for music submissions. I don't know what's wrong with medieval vibes, Erica. I might just enjoy the aesthetic. Maybe that's why I lean into it a little bit. Basically, I'm just subjecting you all to my tastes and my mind and my random thoughts and questions. It's pretty much all this live is. It's just me opening up that questioning part of my mind with some of the flavors of what I like seeping in. It was that. And then community happens, which is amazing. Oh, I'm sure, Mask. I'm sure there's several of our friends live right now. And I don't begrudge any of you guys if you're scrolling back and forth watching some of the great discussions over on Fenrirson right now, Tiny's live. I see Born Again Atheist is also live. I'm sure, I'm sure a few more of our friends are live. I just can't quite see them all from here. Well, Formless, that's not quite how it works. It's not just a hangout on panel, right? We're questioning. The hangout is in the Discord. But I do like the new profile pic. That's awesome. Hell yeah. Yeah, bats are pretty cool.
I stay up all night to question my beliefs. Something I decided when I was asleep. Where have I been guided? How far have I gone? What was decided? Where did I go wrong? My hidden assumptions, I'll ponder them deep and stay up all night to question my beliefs. Comfort of purpose, the prison of fate, longing for connection before it's too late. Anything greater than the base and mundane. Something to give meaning to all of my pain. But where have I been guided? How far have I gone? What was decided? Where did I go wrong? My hidden assumptions, I'll ponder them deep and stay up all night question my belief.
Hell yeah. Appreciate Jimmy B for that one. Love that song. Now, where do the believers be believing? Where, indeed? Now we just need, I don't know, maybe let's say a few more shares. We're up to 53. That's really good. Appreciate all those shares. I'll do a few of them too. Why not? Hell yeah. And maybe we can get a few more people who are curious enough or courageous enough to question their beliefs. If they even know what it is they believe. I wonder if that's where the sticking point is for a lot of people. Maybe you think you have a belief, but you don't know what it is. Have you tried questioning it? Mask, I don't think I've had blueberry green tea. I've had blueberry tea. Iced tea. I thought it was a black tea. I'm pretty sure it was. I'm sipping on a blueberry coffee right now. I got a blueberry smoothie waiting for me for the halfway point. I don't think a person can overdose on blueberries, but I don't know. There might be. I don't know what the LD50 is. Yep, I have no idea. I did. If anybody's wondering, just spend the last 30 seconds Googling the LD50 of blueberries. No, I haven't found anything definitive. Seems like something I should be aware of. maybe there isn't one. Perhaps you could live on blueberries alone. Hippie vibe, I know that feeling. I don't have any of the old encyclopedias anymore, but did have a big set. And by the time I was using them and had them complete, they were outdated. Gobble gobble, I am working on that. We will have one hopefully by next month. A lot of things on my list before I can get that done. Michael V, I just saw your new profile picture. That's awesome. I'm loving all the bats in chat. You guys are amazing. Barfing Toaster says, hey, I don't know if this matters, but burritos are less messy than sandwiches. The problem, Barfing Toaster, is a burrito is just another classification of sandwich. It's just a less messy sandwich than some of the other messy sandwich varieties, like pizza or taco. Those are kind of messy sandwiches. Hello, Morgan. Hope you're doing well. Right, Barfing Toaster. A burritos is just a sandwich. But specifically a burrito, yeah. Howdy, Hammy. Good to see you. If I haven't said hello to everybody yet, hello, good evening, good morning, or good afternoon, wherever it is you are. I hope you're having a good day, and I'm glad you're here. Yep, that marks it, right? Oh no, 5 more minutes. It'll be an hour without a believer. An hour. I should prepare a whole hour of music ready to go so I can... No, I don't want it to be less engaging. I really do want to... I'd love it if we had a guest. Right off the bat, if we'd had one request, I would have stopped any of those songs. Or at least dulled them down, quieted them. Welcome the guest. Because we just don't have anybody requesting. Gonna have to make some more coffee. Yeah, Michael V, I know that feeling. Ed, I can save you a lot of time. If you name it and say, is this a sandwich? The answer is yes. But yeah, a Pop-Tart is definitely a sandwich.
Question your beliefs. To question a belief is to knock on the door of the house you built in your sleep. Some walls are made of inheritance, some of fear dressed as certainty, some of stories repeated until they forgot they were stories. But curiosity is a quiet crowbar. It does not destroy the house, it opens a window. And suddenly, fresh weather enters the mind. Dust dances in golden light, and you remember you are not the house, you are the sky. It was built beneath.
A belief questioned does not mean a belief betrayed. Only that your spirit has chosen growth over furniture. Ask gently, wonder wildly. Let mystery keep a chair at the table. For the bravest souls are not those who cling to answers, but those willing to fall in love with better questions.
Can you question your beliefs? Request on up. Do you have a belief in a god, goddesses, a higher power, and you can question that belief? Request on up! We're not here to debate or burgle your gods! Not try to pry the last vestiges of faith from your bony fingers! But there's always room for one more in the shed!
I did not have a song lined up to follow that. I needed to. I needed to have something with a lot more energy to go right out of that. That was great.
Please. It's too early for this. What was that?
That was Michael. He's amazing work.
That was beautiful. That was pure art. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. Like, I could not breathe. I couldn't breathe. Oh, that was beautiful. Thank you. I don't have to stay up here. I needed to. Oh my god.
I don't know.
Thank you so much.
Maybe you being here for a minute will entice someone to come up and argue with you.
Yeah, right.
That was at first I was like, oh, this is a nice one. He's just gonna say it, and then that one. I don't even think that one was titled Shout. There are a few that are titled Shout. So
Oh my god. Like,
I don't know how much more shouty they can. But
I
it's gonna be fun.
I wasn't sure if I was getting like pro wrestling announcer or if I was getting like death metal scream band. It was, I can't.
It was like industrial beatnik.
Right.
Like a poetry slam in a steel factory.
Like a steel foundry.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
If you can imagine slam poetry in a steel foundry and believe in a God's higher power or anything else like that, and you can question that belief, you should definitely request up.
It was intense. I'm gonna remember that one.
Please mark that one. Please, like, very clearly mark that one.
It was just called Request Up. Yeah, Shannon, we might try it again in like, I don't know, 3 or 4 hours and see what happens. I have more of these. Did you get to hear yesterday? I did play the song that you sent.
Yes, I was here when you played it, and I hung out in the comments and promptly fell asleep.
Oh, I did like
Thank you
that.
so much for playing that.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. Definitely not a shouting vibe.
No, completely,
Quite the opposite.
completely opposite. No, that was my first draft. I'm working on a couple more. That's okay, Kat. I came up unable to breathe.
That was hilarious. I'm really. I think I'm gonna have to queue up another one of the new segues and see where else these go.
Mm-hmm.
Kat says she learned how to fight from the old heads. Is where you get the wake up swinging. I can roast. You're roasting.
Just like he can question anything.
Here we go.
Welcome in! Can you question your belief? Request on up. Do you have a belief in a god, goddesses? A higher power? And you can question that belief? Request on up! We're not here to debate or burgle your gods! Not trying to pry the last vestiges of faith from your bony fingers, but there's always room for one more! In the shed!
It's like Batcolyte, the movie trailer.
Right, like action thriller.
Batcolyte.
A theater near you.
That's what it feels like. Hi there, April Rain. Can I get your age for TikTok TOS?
Hello, I am 33 years old.
And do you have a belief in a god or gods, higher power, or anything like that?
I say I do, but that's just based off of my own experiences.
You say you do believe in a god?
Yeah, well, I mean, based off my own experiences, which kind of have shown me that there's more than meets the eye, and things that some people may consider impossible, maybe things that I would have considered impossible when I was younger, are apparently possible. but also, some people say like, well, there's an explanation for everything. Maybe there is, and maybe I don't know how to articulate it. But considering what is possible, I think I have to remain open-minded, considering that we live in this vast universe or multiverses or multiple dimensions. And or I don't know which would be.
Do you remember the question I asked?
If I believe in a god or gods, plural.
And which god?
Which one?
Yeah, what god do you believe in?
I don't particularly believe in any in regards to religions. I don't pick one. Like I don't even like to say that I believe like in the Christian God, the way that God is described through Christianity or what's the other, Catholic, like any particular religion. I just I take a look at each religion to see how they describe the concept of a god, and then I kind of just like, okay, well, let me take a little bit of science and sprinkle that in there, and so then it's not like some people call this new age spirituality, but I think maybe because I don't even want to place a gender, maybe it is an energy that involves everything, and maybe it is just the universe.
What is energy?
That would be it's hard to grasp and describe energy, because like usually we describe it through scientific terminology, and then there's people who describe it more like in a spiritual sense. So I take a little bit of both. But I'm very science oriented, so I like to understand what energy is from a scientific lens.
Mm-hmm. So what then is energy from a scientific lens?
That's when I get into trying to understand quantum mechanics and try to understand things like microscopically as well as macroscopically. How does energy work? Like what creates material, what comes before material is something that pops into existence, I guess. Maybe it's like maybe energy is, I don't know, that's a tough one for me. It's like, I don't know, it seems like one of those things where it's easier to understand it than explain it, but then it's like, well, then do you really understand it?
Okay, I'm gonna tell the person
It's
in the
potential.
chat who's spamming in caps to calm their shit down, and they're not gonna get to participate. Sorry, it was very distracting, and I didn't have a mod on it. Is potential is what you said?
Maybe potential is just part of energy. I'm not too sure, to be honest. When sometimes we talk about energy and we're like, well, there's things such as kinetic energy and stored energy, and there's our emotional energy, and there's light energy, there's, I don't know, vibrations and oscillations and those kind of thingies. Thingamabobbers.
Oh my. So vibrations, oscillations, and thingamabobbers, oh my.
Yeah.
So when you're saying God is energy, is that vibrations and oscillations and thingamabobbers?
It includes those things, yes, including thingamabobbers.
Including the thingamabobbers.
The doohickeys.
Oh, the thingamabobbers and the doohickeys.
Yes. All of it.
Is energy kind of working as a placeholder? Is the word energy a placeholder when you're trying to describe God?
Perhaps. I think it's an easy word that people generally don't disagree with.
Generally don't disagree with. So you say it because it is pleasing to others to say it.
It makes for easier discussion about these type of topics, whether you're taking a scientific approach or a spiritual approach.
Well, if energy has a scientific definition and usage, and you're saying God is energy, then are you saying God is the scientific definition of energy?
They don't really like to combine the word God with science, but then there's people who say like, "Oh, we found the God particle." Then it's like, okay, what is
Is that really a scientific term, or is that just a nickname given to something?
Could be like I was saying, because I was talking to this other host about the words God and universe, and I asked him the question. I said, "Do you think possibly that these two words, God and universe, can be used interchangeably?" And he said, "Nope. God is God, as in, described in the Bible, and the universe is the universe. Two completely separate things." And so I didn't get to pose my second question to him, which was, not a question, but I was going to tell him, like, actually, from what I've seen and understood, some people do use those terms interchangeably, like they are one and the same thing.
Some people do use those terms interchangeably. Is that what you're trying to do? Are you using God and energy interchangeably?
I do.
So, if you were to measure the potential God of an object, how would you go about doing that?
If I were to measure the potential God of an object?
Yeah. Do you pay a God bill every month?
A bill and an object.
Do you kind of get the point of those questions? They were sort of rhetorical. You replace God
it's about the
with energy.
Sorry, can you repeat that?
You replace God and energy, kind of using them interchangeably. So if you have enough God to stand up, then you might, have enough God to go for a walk. Kind of that.
Hell yeah, I might even say it like that.
Right. So is that actually a useful way to use the word God?
It's useful if the person that I'm speaking to can take it as that.
So, because you replace the word God with, or the word energy with the word God, then you can just kind of apply God anywhere and then say God exists because I had a God drink this morning. It's a lot of caffeine.
A God drink. Yeah, I can do that one too.
Is this actually a useful way to use language?
If the person I'm having conversation with is smart enough to pick up on it, then yeah.
Smart enough to pick up on it.
It'd be like, what the hell are you talking about?
So, kind of like if I just sandwich everything, and sandwiches are sandwich now, and sandwich is anything that's sandwich, and everything's a sandwich because it's all sandwiched.
Yeah.
And that's a useful way to use language for you. To just kind of replace words with one word and just say it's all that.
Yeah, I mean, because, language is all made up, and so as long as at least two people agree on the same use of language, then you can totally have a conversation with completely mixed up words.
So, does your God actually exist, or is it just a trick of language?
It exists as much as the universe exists, I could say.
So, if I were to ask you to define the word God, how would you define it?
In simplest terms, I would say the universe.
So, sandwich.
Yeah.
So, sandwich, sandwich, sandwich.
Sandwich.
Sandwich. You're kind of speaking nonsense there.
Sandwich.
I don't think that's a word anymore. Sandwich is just all there is left now. Because we just sandwiched everything into sandwich.
Well, all there is all.
Isn't this kind of a useless way to communicate? You said earlier only if the other person's smart enough, but it actually kind of sounds like a really dumb way to communicate if we're not distinguishing between things, isn't it?
A sandwich is a sandwich as much as all is all.
A sandwich is a sandwich as much as all is all doesn't actually answer my question, though, does it? If you just define the word God as everything, and then also say it's energy, well, does that mean energy is everything?
Yeah.
In what way?
Like everything, everything. What is everything, without everything?
Do you think you're actually communicating in a coherent way?
Not if you're not understanding, but that's okay.
So you're going to be condescending while you're
Right.
also speaking in nonsense. That's kind of not respectful. I'm going to go ahead and move on to someone or anybody or nobody because I'd rather not be disrespectful in return.
Oh.
I wonder if that was a fear of I don't know. I wonder if I don't know is scary. Is it scary to admit you don't know something?
I fear it was an attempt to show the mirror a mirror, and it just kept refracting back and forth.
I don't think that was a mirror to the mirror. It just became nonsense.
Exactly.
Kat is clearly in a very patient mood right now.
She did mention earlier that she's very grumpy and may just go back to sleep. Too grumpy, Cat.
there was a very loud part of my brain doing exactly that.
Mm-hmm. Got it.
This is going to be a good night.
I certainly hope so. But I have a good feeling. It's got a good vibe.
What is the what are your feelings on the concept of jinxing?
Ooh, on the concept of jinxing?
Mm-hmm. It's awfully quiet in here.
Oh man. Well, that's always what was said before things started getting real serious while I was deployed. So I can't say that I've ever been disproven in that experience.
Cat is still reeling from the previous guest.
Yeah. It's okay, friend. I promise. You're safe now. It's all gone. Especially if you're commenting on a TikTok live, Goobus.
Oh, that's a good point, 3 pips. That usually happens.
I'm trying to think of some other ones. I know there's like a bunch of like superstitions with like spilling salt and stuff like that, but
I missed what you said. I'm sorry, I think my brain paused.
it's okay.
I was reading.
I get it. No, I still get it. I do the same thing.
We were discussing jinxing.
Yes.
Can jinxing be is that a thing?
I feel like it's almost a self-fulfilling prophecy kind of situation. Like you've already put yourself in that frame of mind, and so now everything's gonna just go to shit.
So it's your actions that do it.
Whether consciously or subconsciously, yeah.
Three Pip says it's confirmation bias.
Mm-hmm.
I think it might be.
I agree.
Hello, Bella.
Yo.
Can I get your age for TikTok TOS?
Yeah, I'm 19.
What year were you born?
2007.
And do you have a belief in a god or God's higher power or anything like that?
No, I don't. but it's still like it's like to question your belief, right? It's like, could I still be on if I don't have a belief in a higher power?
Did you read the screen other than that? Like, what is God? Requested. So
Oh,
you don't
okay.
have a belief. Why don't you believe?
I don't believe just because I feel like the fact that the Bible does have like contradictions, and, like although proving that it's a perfect book is, and not just the Bible, the Quran as well, or whatever, like, and also like the fact that we suffer and that we're not all equal as humans. It's just kind of like it's something that would only happen like through evolution.
It would only happen through evolution.
Yeah, just like how some animals are just naturally stronger and more fit to survive in an environment compared to others.
So you don't think there's any way that there are any kind of godlike beings at all?
Honestly, I wouldn't deny it 100%. But I'd say for the most part, I believe that there isn't.
What would convince you that there is a God of some kind?
Honestly, what convinces me is the fact that, like, how did everything start up? You know, like at least Christians have an answer to that. Like, how is the world even like here today? Basically, and honestly, I want to be Christian, which is why I'm here. Just because I feel like they have such a good hope for the future. Like, you know, they're gonna die, they're gonna go to heaven, and I want to have that hope, and I want to believe.
You want to have hope that you will go to the heaven described in the Bible?
Yeah, or any religion. Like, I want to be religious really badly.
Yeah.
I just, what?
Why?
I mean, just because I'm just so scared of death. Just like I want to have a good hope.
Why?
Why? Just why am I scared of death? Or why do I want to have a good hope?
Yes.
Both? Okay, so I'm scared of death because I feel like I enjoy living, and it's kind of like once I die, it's like I don't want to be gone forever, basically. And I want to have a hope because I know I'm not going to be here for that long. And it's like if I'm like once I die, it's like I want to be in heaven.
What do you mean you? Like if you don't believe there's a God now, what do you think will be of you when you are not here anymore?
I think I would just be nothing. I think I would just be ashes or just dirt.
How do you... I can't. Sorry.
How do I what? And I feel like
How do you expect to be taken seriously on a troll account?
This isn't a troll. This is just so that other people like don't see what I do. Like kids in my school and stuff. It's not a troll account.
Kids at your school. You said you were 19.
Yeah, I'm in school.
Gotta do better if you're gonna method act, buddy.
Oh no. I don't know. I don't know. I feel like it's just disingenuousness all the way through. Layers of disingenuousness.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, Platonic. Can I get your age for TikTok TOS?
Hi, Batcolyte. I'm 56.
Do you have a belief in a god or gods, higher power, or anything like that?
Yes.
And what god do you believe in?
The God that Christ spoke of as the Father.
And have you read the Bible from beginning to end?
Yes.
Do you believe the stories within the Bible to be true and literal?
Yes.
All of them? Like the 6-day creation, Adam and Eve, Jonah and the fish?
Yes.
Why do you believe the 6-day creation story, for instance?
Well, it definitely doesn't refer to days as we understand them, not the first 4.
You say it definitely doesn't. How do you know it definitely doesn't?
Well, I think it's the 4th day where the sun was created. So we get our idea of the day.
Does he
right.
define a day on the first one, though?
He does call it a day. He does mention the word day and night, but they seem to be interchangeable with the word heavens and earth. In my I try not to read it within preconceptions.
Have you ever studied the Hebrew?
Only very lightly. I haven't sat down and... No, would be a better answer.
So if you haven't studied the Hebrew, then why would you assume to know what was meant by day or night?
I don't assume. I can see that it refers to he first created the heavens and the earth. And I think it's the 2nd chapter or 2nd verse there that he refers to having created the day and the night. And he doesn't make any distinction that these are different things. So,
which translation are you looking at?
I think it's a Gideon Bible. I'll go with here. It is. The New King James Bible.
Oh, you're reading a New King James. Okay. It's difficult to hear you. You've got an audio issue. It's like your voice keeps going in and out.
I'm not sure how to stop that. I'm right.
Do you have headphones?
No, I don't. Just speaking straight into the mic. Is that clear now?
It's fairly clear. So, in yours, you said the 2nd verse is where he does it, or was it later?
Yeah. I know it's so in the very opening, chapter 1, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth, and then in verse 5, God called the light day, and the darkness he called night.
What else does he say there between those two?
He says the earth was without form and void, and darkness was on the face of the deep.
And darkness was on the face of the deep.
And the Spirit of God was hovering over the face of the waters. And then he said,
So when he makes heaven and earth, which is dark and which is light, if you're assuming that these are supposed to be the same.
Well, I'm not assuming.
Well, he later calls the light something else, so I don't know why you would assume that it's not day, if that's not what he says.
What I'm doing is taking the 2 things that he says he creates, or that it is said that he created, and just stopping there and just resting with that until I see it change. And so he talks. He makes the statement that in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth. Then he goes on to describe the earth and says the earth was without form and void.
Mm-hmm.
And then he says darkness was on the face of the deep. So he brings in like a third element there, like the deep.
So now darkness is there too. So why are you assuming that darkness is one of the 2 things he described already?
Because he called the 2 things that he first created that he names, then he has in the the verse 5, he has two things that he has created, or that have come about through creation, and he calls them two separate things, day and night. And then he brings in a second duality, can I call it? The evening and the morning.
The evening and the morning. Are those heaven and earth as well?
Well, I'm not sure. I mean, I try not to read into it.
I'm sorry, you just did read into it, didn't you?
Oh no, I'm expressing some of my meanderings, reflections on it.
That's interesting. I appreciate that.
Know.
Yeah, I appreciate that,
all.
Platonic. I find it interesting that you said you don't read into it, but you did kind of read into it, like to say that heaven and earth are light and dark, are day and night. Now, to say, you don't want to read into what evening and morning are, if those are those two, because you don't like to read into it, but that's kind of what got you there, wasn't it? Was reading into it.
Well, yeah, but I'm not
written.
Reading into it sort of indicates that I've come down to some firm conclusion, and that's what I haven't done. I haven't come to a firm conclusion about anything in the Bible.
I see.
I mean, you asked me if I thought it was true.
That's true. I did.
I think it's true, but that's different from knowing.
So you think the 6-day creation is true, that some of the days are not literal 24-hour days?
Yeah, well, I think that is definitely, I mean, I'm more towards concluding that is the case because...
Why would he use the same Hebrew word for day each time?
Well, I'm not sure about that. I have read that it doesn't have... So I'm not sure. I haven't done the Hebrew study. So, well, I mean, but I would say a contextual reader. Like I look at the word before and after the word I'm reflecting on, not just the verse and even the letters themselves, the choice of letters. Because if God,
but you're looking at the choice of letters in the English.
Yeah, that's right.
So these are later, like centuries later, human choices.
That's right. But this is all under the premise of if God, origin of everything that we see around us, then his imprint, let's say it, must be on everything.
Everything.
I believe a chicken soup recipe indicates the truth.
Have you read the Gen Z Bible?
Gen Z? No.
A publication, at least I've seen on the internet, where they have the Bible translated into Gen Z slang.
Right. I think I may have heard a sentence or two.
Mm-hmm.
Or I think I saw a speech given by an American senator where he translated his speech into Gen Z. So I think I'll get the gist of what you're saying. It was quite amusing.
In the very start, God made the sky and the earth. So basically, at first, the earth was a hot mess. It didn't have any structure or anything, just emptiness and darkness all around. But then, the Spirit of God started doing its thing, cruising over the oceans. Then God was like, yo, let there be light. And boom, there was light. And God was like, yo, this light is lit. So God separated the light from the darkness. Like, he made sure they don't mix, Is that kind of the same? Is that the exact same meaning that you're getting, though?
Yeah.
It sounds very different from the meaning that you gave me.
Right. Well, I think there are probably a billion different ways to say the same thing, and they will sound different, but it's still saying the same thing at the root. Like, I suppose everything, it wouldn't matter what you were saying, everything that you heard someone saying or reading out loud would be situated in a universe where there were people able to read things out loud and be heard. And so in that context, they all share the same root. Like, the universe does exist.
So basically it says the universe exists and everything else is just kind of flavor.
Well, flavour and man's attempt to put the reality of that situation into coherent words, which is pretty hard to do.
The reality of this situation. What is the reality of Genesis 1 again, other than we exist?
Well, I guess it just says, in the beginning. And then it gives an answer.
What implies that there was a beginning outside of the book? Is there any way to verify in reality that there was a beginning?
I mean, your sentence just then had a beginning and an end.
Yes, my sentence wasn't the universe, though. I don't know why you're equating it to it.
It's an echo, let's call it. Or
why would you assume that everything is an echo?
Because they, so far, from my observation, they all follow the same track.
Everything follow the same track?
Well, everything I've ever seen has a beginning. And that may be the first time I see it. Then for me, that's its
beginning is for you. It's subjective beginning. Does that mean that everything objectively has a beginning?
Yes.
How did you verify that from an objective perspective? How did you obtain objectivity?
Well, it is very hard to do that because we are subjects of the universe and not the universe itself.
So then how did you verify the universe itself has a beginning?
That appears to be the way time works.
What do you mean that appears to be? When did you see the beginning of time?
No, I didn't see the beginning, but I see the beginning of each moment.
Beginnings happen within time. How do you know time itself has beginning?
Well, that is the... when you take that question and go like, okay, let's think about a state before now, then that's where the idea of God is.
A state before now is the idea of God?
Yeah.
The state before now was when I was sitting up on the panel and Morgan was up here and we were listening to music. That was a state before now. Was that God?
Yep.
How was that God?
Well, as I said before, if everything...
Because you assume everything's God. God is a sandwich and we're all in it.
Yeah. Yep, I think you're right there.
Why do you assume that God is everything?
Again, I don't assume. This is what I see.
How do you see God? What does that mean?
Well, the way to see God is to see yourself.
How do you know that you're seeing God? That just sounds like sort of a deepity.
I don't know. But it's a name that matches with the experience and the collective understanding. Like people that don't like God or don't accept God's existence, or do, they all. Once you start talking about what God would be like, then everyone sort of agrees. Whether they
Platonic. Can you stop projecting the condescension and actually get back to the question I asked?
Sorry, say the question again.
You don't remember the question? When did you see God? How is it that you're able to say that what you're seeing is God?
Well, just to answer as directly as possible, I see by the light of God.
What does that mean?
That means I have followed the map that was left behind, as well as, well, first seeking myself, like from an existential dilemma point of view, and then seeing as I came to the understanding of God's existence, that what Christ said was exactly true. Like not a word of a lie.
Okay, so you're just going back to saying that basically because you believe the Bible, then you believe everything is God.
No, I believe that everything is true now, including the Bible.
Everything is true?
Yes.
Literally everything, even things that contradict the Bible?
Yes.
How can contradictory things be true?
Well, if you can see the truth, like the objective truth, then all things are clear and all lies are displayed as a denial of the truth. So the truth still exists within that lie, and all things that are.
Okay, so that's that. You're saying that if something references something, then it implicitly is something. So if I reference the celestial skeletal bat goddess who unfurls her wings in accordance with the lambda cetium model of physics, otherwise known as the Big Bang, in which our universe is just one of the membranes between her bony appendages unfurling as she spreads her wings. If I just kind of reference that, then now it is true, right?
Well,
because I referenced it.
That came from your imagination.
How do you know? How do you know that came from my imagination?
I don't know. I've never heard.
Then why would you assume that?
Well,
how could I not? Like when you came up here and said Jesus Christ, how could I not just say that just came from your imagination?
No,
you're just saying that.
I do.
So then why would you? Like why would you assume that it's true and yet this celestial skeletal bat goddess is not?
No, I didn't say it wasn't true. I said it's,
I thought you said if we referenced it, people talked about God and therefore God is real. People talk about truth and therefore truth, everything's true. A lie, apparently, according to you, denies a truth and therefore because it references it, then it's true. So then anything is true because we reference it. So the celestial skeletal bat goddess would be true, though. But then you said that's just a part of my imagination. Rejecting it from truth.
I'm not saying that your imagination is not the truth.
But if it's so then that's your determination then, is that everything is true because people think of it, because it is thought of, then that's what truth is to you.
All these things that people think of, are again and again evidence of the imagination, which is where we actually reside.
Oh, it's where we actually reside. That's where I eat and drink and sleep and shit, is my imagination. That's where I actually reside.
Yep, that seems apparent to me. I mean, everybody...
Are you here for an honest conversation? Like,
yes, I am.
I don't think you're actually... So you reside in your imagination. That's where you actually reside.
Every person does.
What does that mean?
That means everything you see, for instance, let's just take the visible spectrum. Everything you see is converted into electrical signals by your optic nerves and reformulated in what people call the imagination, where you form an image.
I'm sorry, is that necessarily the imagination? Are you talking about perception? Are you equivocating perception to imagination to being the same thing?
Yes.
How are they the same thing?
Well, people can have wacky beliefs that are obviously not based in reality, and that's just by other people's standards. And it doesn't stop them believing them strongly, like firmly, having their life rooted in that understanding. So the imagination. I mean, I suppose like the word imagination in its reality is the image that we form in our minds of what we are experiencing.
So you're breaking it down to make imagination mean specifically, so that you can then say that perception is the equivalent.
Yes.
But is there not a distinction? Is there not a reason why we have that distinction?
Definitely there is a distinction, but I've made the point.
So then
sees
why
it.
would you have equivocated it prior?
Well, because I see that most people don't make the distinction between reality and what they believe. That is their reality. What they believe is what they see. And what they see is what they believe. It's a bit of a circular argument, but it is observable in other humans, as well as myself.
What is observable in humans?
That the images that we form in our minds of external reality can be coloured, I'll use that phrase, by belief.
Colored by